1045 The Team, your home for New York sports. We are joined on the phone by Sports Illustrated. I mean, the man wrote for Sports Illustrated for 3 decades. He's a special contributor, and he has the most talked about list in all NBA households right now. We'll get to that in a second. But, Jack, you just wrote that the Knicks need to finish strong for free agency. When you say finish strong here on your home for New York sports, do we have to have a playoff spot to entice real free agents to come to town?
I would think so. I mean, I know the East is a little stronger this year. I get that, but when you name the teams that you might get beat out by if you don't make a playoff spot, I mean, the Milwaukees and the Carolinas. I just think that it's probably kind of a sad thing if when you look at your team with the most talked about rookie and a supposedly, elite player in Carmelo Anthony that you can't make the playoffs. That's the way I would see it.
So the coaching search for the Knicks, we've heard that Phil Jackson only wants to go with one of his guys, but could he deviate from that and go with a Tom Thibodeau or a Scott Brooks?
Of course he could. I mean, I guess Phil, as well as, talking about his family, I guess he relies on, he likes unpredictability, but I don't know. I just think the interesting thing at the end of the year is going to be, I just wonder if there's going to be a possible duel for Luke Walton. If suddenly the Lakers are going to want him and the Knicks are going to want him, he's got his home in L.A., but he's got Uncle Phil in New York. I would have to I don't know this, but I would have to think that has to be one of the things primarily. Phil is a family guy. Phil came into the league, he was always seen as kind of an outsider, but he always tied himself to the family idea, to the Tex Winters and Johnny Box. They're his guys. And I think Walton, that would be my guess, might be his the first place he looks.
Jack McCallum joins us, Sports Illustrated senior writer and special contributor, and has a top 50 NBA players list out there right now. And I'm looking at your Twitter, at McCallum12, and it's funny to me that I can see exactly what I was afraid was happening to you is happening to you. Who are you getting the biggest flack over where you've ranked them in your top 50?
I would say the number one stream, no question, has been Nowitzki, too low. I think Dallas had. I would have to think twice about driving near the Texas Book Depository in Dallas if I ever went there, because Nowitzki too low. That would be one of them. There's also a lot of comment about, somebody wrote in and say, "Hey, I'm a sports fan and I never heard of Jerry Lucas and Dave Bing." Well, that's not my fault. Take a look at some of these older guys. And the third thing would be, why the hell is Steph Curry on the list when obviously he hasn't had how can you say that he's better than a Clyde Drexler or Dirk Nowitzki when he hasn't had that full of a career yet? I would say there's been comments on all of them, but I would say that those three would be the most common ones.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but is there any way to get Ewing up to 33 just for sentimental reasons?
That would have been a pretty good idea. I realized late, believe it or not, I didn't think much of that. Somebody told me later, or pointed out to me later, that I had Pippen at number 23, which is Jordan's number, which if Jordan had never been on a team, Pippen wouldn't be in the top 100 players. Somebody did think I did that on purpose, but there was enough to think about without matching them number to number.
So Steph Curry is on your list. Do you think he's the best shooter of all time? Is he already better than a Ray Allen or a Reggie Miller?
Well, I think if he does it in, let's say, one more finals. I mean, just as a shooter, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, we talked about those years that Ray Allen was pretty phenomenal with getting off his shot on time, quickly. And Curry has taken it, kind of to a new level. Plus, Ray Allen got to the basket early in his career too. But plus, Steph gets to the basket also. But putting him on the list it's obviously based a little bit on projection. How do you come across that he's the 31st best player in 70 years when he's only been in the league 7 years? Obviously, part of that is projection. I mean, to this point, is he better than some of the guys behind him? No, but I just think with the way he's going this year, you add 2 or 3 more years, he has a chance to move up into, let's say, the top 20 players of all time.
Jack McCallum joins us. He's written for Sports Illustrated for 3 decades. He has the top 50 NBA player list out right now, which is so much fun for me just to get in and debate it all. Jack, who were the hardest guys to leave off your list?
Oh man, I would say the 2 that killed me was Steve Nash. I spent a year writing a book with the Suns. Saw what Nash did with that team. 2-time MVP award. Love him, love Steve. Nothing not like about his game beside his defense. And I would say James Worthy. Some of my friends, people that I really respect, who were around when I was, my age and kind of with these guys, said, "You really screwed up by taking Worthy off the list." Big game, James played in some finals, and I guess what I thought about was, you're splitting hairs when you leave these guys off. I guess I thought with James that he was never quite had to carry a team. That he always had Magic, he had Kareem, that he was never, even though a lot of times he was the leading scorer, he wasn't really the sort of the centerpiece of the team. That's just finding a reason to leave him off. That's not anything against, what he was as a great player.
Jack, in addition to being a great writer for Sports Illustrated, Jack McCallum, you've also written Bleeding Orange. You spent tons of time with Jim Boeheim. You were there when the sanctions were brought down. What are going to be the lasting effects on Syracuse from these sanctions?
It appears, they have a good recruiting class from whatever they say coming in. It will always be remembered. I mean, is it a little bit of a taint? Yes, but I mean, what I found is that what it seems to me is this idea, the enduring idea of playing at the Dome. I just think it continues. Now, whether or not Syracuse is more of a force in the ACC, that can they reclaim that Big East magic? That's another story. That still has to be played out. But I just don't think, I still think Syracuse remains a place where people want to play. The allure of that arena, the 35,000 people. So I just think they're going to be, I think they're going to get beyond this. Their fan base is strong. They're one of the magic names in college basketball. And I think, going forward, they're going to be fine.
Jack, it always amazes me when I go and I look on Amazon.com for a book like Bleeding Orange. It always the things people buy with it. So there's 100 things Syracuse fans need to know and do, and then Argyle Syracuse socks, dress socks.
Well, I guess that explains the probably it works the other way. I mean, probably I've had an uptick in books once in a while around Christmas, people wanting Argyle socks. So yeah, I look at that thing too, and the number of emails that I get asking me to buy Bleeding Orange and a couple of the other books I've written, apparently they don't pay too much attention to who wrote the thing. They just know that I've looked on the website.
Jack McCallum, writer for Sports Illustrated for 3 decades. His top 50 NBA list is one of the most argued and fun things to talk about right now in the world of sports. We really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.